All right, hello, and welcome to day 4. This is day 4 of my 30-day challenge. And as you can see, my surroundings have changed today, and it is because, well, I was sick the last 24 hours, and so I actually missed yesterday. And we were out running around today, and so I got back home late, and I don't have outside because it's dark, and so I'm left with indoors, and I don't have my lighting set up yet. So, anyway, what I've learned when you're trying to build momentum on any small project or anything is keep the consistency as much as humanly possible. And when life shows up and throws you a curveball and you just cannot possibly keep the consistency going, get back to it as soon as you can. So even though I would have preferred to wait till tomorrow to do this, and with the lighting and everything, I knew that I needed to do this tonight. So I'm here doing this. Okay. So what's the topic for today? I would like to talk about the perfect client, your perfect client. And what does that mean? You probably see me on the site here mentioning, finding your perfect clients and thoughts about how to do that. And so I thought it'd be interesting and important to at least talk about what the perfect client actually is. And so first off, I'd like to say that it's really important to realize that you are not meant to, nor can you work with everybody. I know from being empathic and being intuitive and being someone who likes to serve that I want to be able to help everybody, but you're just not humanly possible. It's not humanly possible to help everybody. So who are you meant to help? And if you're early on in your practice, you may not be able to pick out exactly the types of people that you should help or that always come to you or whatever, and that's okay. Eventually you'll probably work into that and you'll figure out the commonalities between all the people that generally tend to come to you. But let me just start by saying it is important for you eventually to find an ideal client, like who is the person that makes the most sense for you to work with. It doesn't mean that you don't work with other people. What it just means is that ideally, when you're putting in your efforts towards your marketing, you are targeting or you are being specific towards a certain type of person, either with a certain characteristic or a certain commonality as far as the problem they're trying to solve, whatever that is. So let me give you an example of what I mean by this. Let me just take myself, for example. So I build websites and I do business consulting and marketing, business coaching essentially, for highly intuitive, highly sensitive and intuitive people who are looking to serve the general public with their special gifts, their natural gifts. Now I could, this come through years of me refining what I do, feeling out who I like to work with, who I'm called to work with, and just the commonalities that I have with my clients. Now I've come into this because I am empathic, I am intuitive, and I've gone on my own healing journey, and I just feel drawn towards helping people like myself. Now I could just go out there and say, anybody who wants a website, come to me and I'll do that. But one that doesn't feel in alignment with myself, first of all. So that's one really important thing, is to always be in alignment with who you are, which goes back to our previous video about knowing why you're doing what you're doing. And so being in alignment with that first and foremost is one thing. But secondly, realize that there's a key point here that you need to understand, which is that when we decide to make a purchase, when we decide to trust someone to follow their advice or whatever it is, we make that decision from an emotional standpoint. And we make that because the solution that they are offering connects with us in some way. So if I just go out there and say to everybody and anybody, hey, I build websites, if you need a website, come and talk to me. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I might get some clients from that. I might get some clients that I wouldn't have normally, because I'm, right now I'm specifically targeting people like yourself who are intuitive, empathic, and that kind of thing. So I might get someone who's just a general business person who's offering some other kind of service. Maybe they're a restaurant of some kind, or a mechanic, or a plumber, or whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with that stuff. But there are other people who can help them. Like I said, I don't feel called to help that area of business. And more importantly, if I tried to go and do that, I'm competing with everybody else. And there's nothing that makes me unique and different. And so then there's no reason for them to choose me over someone else, other than maybe I get a referral because someone else liked my work. And so, and that's good. You always want referrals. But I really want to stand out. I really want to connect. It's important for you also. You want to connect with the other person, and they want to really have a reason for moving forward with you. And so one of those things that they can do is, if you are offering to solve a specific problem that they have in a way that connects them with the processes that you use, or they just connect with you on a connection level, on a deeper level, which is why, again, you go back to one of the previous videos that I made about speaking about your why. If they connect with you on a personal level, and you're offering to solve a very specific problem that they have with your technique or your process, that is very, very much more specific than just whatever else that you might say. I help everybody do everything. I just want to help people feel better. That's really generic. But if you are an energy healer of some kind, and you decide that you want to help mothers with struggling with their children, let's just use an example. That's a very, very specific thing. And if they connect with you on some kind of personal basis, maybe because you are a mother and you've gone through this process, you can identify with some of their issues, then because of that, they are much more drawn to you, because you have a shared commonality, and you are telling them that you have a specific solution for their very specific problem. So I hope that helps you understand why it's important to get more specific in your marketing, in your language that you're using when you're trying to attract your clients. Like I said, it takes some time to find the commonalities. So if you're early in your practice, you may just want to decide that that you'll just help people with a specific type of problem. And that's fine. What I would do is just kind of try it on, almost like trying on a pair of shoes. Say to yourself, okay, what does it feel like to help this problem? What does it feel like to help that problem? And keep in mind, again, when I'm saying to have this perfect person, it doesn't mean that you can't help other people. If someone somehow finds you and comes to you and says, hey, I've got this issue, can you help me, or whatever, of course, feel free. If you feel in alignment with that, then of course, do that. It doesn't mean you can't do that. And if you decide to choose one type of client, and you get down the road and you decide, you know what, I want to add something else, or I want to change that type of client now, that's all fine and good. Perfectly fine. You can do that. You're not locking yourself into anything. Just realize that by being more specific, you're going to attract more people, and you're going to you're going to create more buying behaviors, because you're offering something specific rather than being very general. And then you have to really try and convince people that, why they need to move forward with you and try your services. So I hope that's helpful. I know it's counterintuitive to us because we want to help everybody. I totally understand that. I had a hard time getting over that myself. But I highly encourage you to find that specific thing that you want to and you can help with, especially early on, especially if you're early in your practice, because if you start small, you can build out from there. You can get bigger, and that's okay. But if you start small and you get really good at finding a small niche that you can work within, then you can start adding on to that over time. So I hope that's helpful for you. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.